All right, so let's go back to the beginning.
All right.
Now, you were in Queens. No, you were in
Queens. Yeah.
Queens, New York.
Queens, New York.
You're running around. Who's your buddies?
My buddies at that time, when I was a little kid, is my buddy Alfred, my buddy Carl, Keith, and Jay, my buddies who became my partners in Fubu.
So these guys were like close friends.
Close friends, yeah.
Okay, and any of them slinging drugs, any of them freaking fighting, any of them in trouble in any way?
Yeah. My buddy Alfred was slinging drugs. He's still in jail for that. But the rest of us were pretty clean kids, just trying to stay out of trouble.
Strict parents?
Strict parents. A lot of the bad stuff from the community was happening. Those drug dealers trying to suck us in to, become part of their crew. But we kind of kept ourselves together and said, no, we're not going to do that.
Okay, good. So there you are in Queens, New York. And who came up with the idea? You?
I did.
And what made you come up with an idea?
We loved hip hop. It was this music that was just coming up, and nobody really respected it in the main media and the public. But we lived for it. It came with it, walk, talk, and even dance. And it was our version of social media. It was how we were finding out what was going on in other cities and streets and neighborhoods because they were communicating through the music. We weren't seeing that on the news. And we had to keep buying, product that we would reinterpret for the streets. We'd buy a ski jacket because we loved the color, but who the hell needed Gore-Tex? We didn't need all that. We didn't need to pay $1,000 for it. We needed to pay $200 for it. Timberland boots. We'd wear Timberland all the time. We were buying Timberland boots like the kids buy Jordans these days.
Why? Because the same reason I got Levi's?
Because they were just cool.
You knew they were cool?
They were cool.
Who decided?
Cool. The rappers, because once the rappers are talking about it and wearing it, then, of course, we want to be like the rappers. Or maybe the streets were dictating what the rappers were talking about. Either way, it was still that symbiotic relationship. And we just kept hearing that these companies just didn't love or respect the kids who like rap music or African Americans or inner city kids. And we said, who's ever going to value and respect these people that love this culture of music? And we came up with For Us By Us.
That's awesome. So do you believe you were accidentally successful or intentionally? Because if anyone asks me, and I don't consider myself a success, especially compared to you, but when someone asks me, I always say, first, I'm not successful yet. Secondly, I'm accidentally where I am. Did you accidentally succeed, or did you learn along the way and then eventually start applying what you're learning?
I eventually started applying what I'm learning. Is it an accident? Not necessarily. Was it guaranteed? Absolutely not. I failed at all my first couple of business ventures. I failed at Fubu many, many times. But whatever I was going to deem myself to be successful, I wasn't going to let anybody stop me. And my level of success, I'd have been very, very happy with a clothing store that my friends and I would have ran, and we'd have been able to hopefully make a living. That would have been my level of success. Anything over that is greater.
So it started out as that.
That's it. I just wanted to dress people. I wanted to make sure that I was in control of my destiny, so that not only was I dressing people, I owned my store. I decided when I was going to open and close it. I treated my customers like they were superstars, and in return, they would come to me and buy the newest and best things that they wanted to wear.
Yeah. So hanging around those buddies of yours, even though they were a little bit, one or a few were maybe doing some stupid shit.
Yeah.
What do you believe on? You got to choose who you hang around. Hanging around the wrong people will definitely be a barrier.
100% hang around the wrong or hang around the right, right? I didn't just have them. I had 20 different friends, but the ones when it came down to sewing shirts and delivering them at stores and doing that, many of them disappeared. And it was 4 or 5 of them said, I believe what you're doing. You see, when I started out in 89, doing this, when I started out, it wasn't glamorous to be a designer. If you were a heterosexual male and you were going up to other people saying I'm a designer, at that time they thought, or the idea was, mostly gay men were designers. So actually all my cool friends started to laugh at us and say, what's wrong with these guys? But now, however, when now I was able to go into the video sets or go to some kind of flea market and sell the shirts and get to talk to girls, I was happy as hell.
Sure.
I was like, yeah, my friends think I'm gay. It's no problem. I'm out here talking to the ladies. I'm out here selling it to them and telling it to the guys. When I go to a video set to try to put it on a rapper, and when they kick everybody else off and say, get the hell out of here. You guys have no reason to be here. I had that one little rinky-dink shirt going, yeah, I'm here to dress the artist, please. So I'll be staying. I'll be staying right here. It gave me 5 more minutes to like kill it on to me and kick me off too.
Oh, yeah.
But it gave me validity and reasons to be part of different communities that I didn't have an entry or a reason to be part of.
So in '89, you started it. How many years went by before it actually started paying off?
Well, '89 I started. I failed and closed it 3 times from '89 to '92 because I kept running out of capital.
And you closed it? So it could have been dead.
It was dead 3 times. Right. Then I started to really put more and more capital in because I started to get more and more traction. And I started getting public recognition around 97, 98.
But I mean, if it was closed, what rejuvenated it? What?
So it was, it's what real entrepreneurs do. True entrepreneurs, they act, they learn, then they repeat. They take affordable steps and they try to learn their market and they start to get proof of concept. So I would sell, let's say I would take $1,000 and I would make 200 shirts and I would go into a flea market and sell them. Right. And then I would take the money and I'd realize, wait a minute, I had to pay to create the screen prints. I had to pay for shipping. I had to pay for a couple of neck tags. Wait, I don't have any more money left. I can't re-up because I owed all these bills. Right. So then I'd go back to work at Red Lobster as normal. And then all of a sudden, a couple of people coming to Red Lobster going, hey, weren't you the one who sold me that Fubu shirt, man? Every time, just like you were just talking about that Coogee shirt or those jeans that you bought back in the days when Jesus was wearing jeans too. He said, those Fubu shirts, man, I can't find it anywhere and everybody loves it. When are you going to make some more? So I'd save up enough money at Red Lobster working and I'd make another run. Yeah. Now I make another run, and then I would close it again because I ran out of more money, and it would happen again. The business started to call me back, and I started to feel like there was something special there, and that's why, I kept opening it back up.
So you could have been out of business had you been the normal, or let's just say the majority of entrepreneurs. They get a little trouble. They shut down and they don't open back up.
And, that's honestly after I had already closed 2 or 3 businesses before that. But when I closed the 2 or 3 businesses before that, I never had that feeling. I never had that feeling and that excitement that I wanted to do this again because the businesses that I had closed before that, I had done for money. I did the whole, this business is a $50 billion market, and if I only get 1% of 1%. And I realized I was only trying to just make money, and I had no passion or drive. I couldn't care less about the business itself. I cared about the end goal, but I had no knowledge on how to get to that end goal. Now, all of a sudden, I'm in a business where I'm starting to see people that are they're grateful. They're potential new customers. They want to buy more from me. I want to sell more. I can't wait to make more. And that's what kept calling me back to this because I learned what I didn't like in businesses prior.
Mm-hmm. Did you get up early and work late, or was it just whatever you felt like doing?
No. I got up early. I work late, as everybody here listening who has a business or I was the first at the office, the last to leave. I kept having to figure it out. You act, learn, and repeat. I kept making mistakes, but I kept saying, instead of this going, oh my God, let me close this thing. This is horrible. I go, now I figured out what I was doing wrong. One step closer to doing something right. Mm-hmm. Once just kept figuring out this puzzle, just kept the pieces of that jigsaw puzzle start falling into place. And when you start doing a jigsaw puzzle and you looked at, you had these 1,000 pieces over here. Now there's only 200 pieces left. And I'm starting to put them together too. And I start to see this thing growing. I start to figure this thing out. I start to get more people around me. Then my customers are starting to come around me more and more and more. And I start to dig myself into a little bit of a hole. But I also can see light at the end of the tunnel if I do things right, if I keep correcting what I'm doing wrong.
Mm-hmm. There's a bomb or a diggity bomb. Hey, let me ask you. So 9 years later, or let's say
nine, yeah.
Now shit starts popping off a little bit.
Now it starts to pop.
What was the big change?